Get ready. Get set. It's time for the Basement View. What's up? Good evening. It's 7 p.m. Friday, April the 25th. By golly, how's it going? It is me. Jeff. Yeah, that guy. How's it going? Tell you what. Let's see here. A lot of stuff going on today. A lot of stuff. How y'all doing? Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. I just got a brain fart just now. I was thinking of something and it just left. I'm pretty sure some of you all have had that happen where your mind just go blank all of a sudden. That messed me up. Godly. That's crazy. So anyway, how's everybody doing? I hope y'all doing better than me. Hey, Carmen. What's up, James? What's up, Elise? I hope y'all doing better than me because I'm up here tripping. I am tripping my ass off. Wow. Funny stuff. So much went on today. You know, I almost don't know where to start. So much went on today that it's just crazy. So much went on today. I'm like, you know, I ain't even got time to get into everything that went on today. I'm cover a couple things, talking about a couple things if y'all want to talk about, if you got something in particular that y'all want to talk about. But I got two things I want to talk about tonight in particular. Maybe we'll get into some more, you know, we'll see. I got to tell you again, hey, Lisa, what's happening? Y'all know I'm always tripping it right here on this camera. You know, y'all just don't see me before we get live. I'm always doing some goofy shit. That's why I come on laughing a lot, because I be to mess something up and then panic at the last minute. Have to fix it. Ah, that's funny. But anyway, so much went on today. So much. It's crazy, you know, and social media is so crazy and funny that I have to laugh, and I'm always getting on the women, you know, fellas out there, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask the women, can a man with no money make you happy? That's the question of the night. Can a man with no money make you happy? I got a post from social media I want to show, and I thought it was a pretty interesting post. Funny. It was really funny to me. And I'm going to go ahead and play that just to get this evening started. Check this out.
Watch this. Tell me your thoughts on this.
Think a man without money would make a woman happy?
Yes, yeah.
Do you think a man without money can make a woman in a relationship happy?
Yeah, of course. If he's a nice, kind human being, then yeah, of course. Money can't always buy you happiness, right?
Man with no money make a woman happy in a relationship.
I think so, yes. Yes. I'm going to say no.
No. Hell no. Absolutely not.
No.
No.
Hell no.
How he gonna make me happy?
How you going to make her happy with no money?
Well, that was interesting. Did we see a difference? That was really interesting. 2025 maybe. So, is that a sign of the times? Well, Charles, I tell you what, take a wild guess why all the black women said no. Take a wild guess. You know, I tell you what, I'm tempted to do that very poll myself. I'm tempted to take that poll myself. Yes, it was a code of color divide. Lisa, you letting on how old you are using that term code of color. Oh my goodness, that's funny. But yes, I'm tempted to go out and take that survey myself. You know, I'm thinking about that because I want to know if that was just out there in that area where that was, or if that's a general thing. You know, wouldn't it be interesting to find out? I might actually start doing that. I'll be y'all man on the streets. But hey, takes a lot of money to buy all those girly parts that they remove at night. You know what? I ain't gonna say nothing about that because some folks got on me about that the other day. Some folks got on me. They said it was our fault. It's the men's fault that they getting all them girly parts. Okay, so you know I'm gonna leave it alone. You know, it's our fault, men, that they buying all them girly parts. Ah, that's funny. Okay. Well, anyway, so much happened today. Where do we even start? I tell you where we're going to start. Look here. I got an email, and it said Ron DeSantis was caught up in a $10 million scandal. And I checked it out. You say, right? Yeah, I checked it out. When I got this email, I went on, checked it out. Let's have just a little bit of listen to it.
A massive scandal has erupted here in the state of Florida involving our Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, and his wife, Casey DeSantis. And, of course, the national media is pretty much completely ignoring this story that was first reported by the Miami Herald, even though this story does have national implications due to the fact that Ron DeSantis wants to run for president again and Casey DeSantis wants to run for governor of Florida. But here is what happened. Let me read this to you. Lawyers working with the state of Florida drafted a settlement agreement that said Florida's largest Medicaid contractor, Centene, had overbilled taxpayers more than $67 million for medications, according to a copy of that document obtained by the Miami Herald and Times. But instead of returning all of that to state and federal taxpayers, the administration sent $10 million to the Hope Florida Foundation, which is a nonprofit charity run by Casey DeSantis, the wife of the Florida governor. So, Centene overbilled us, the taxpayers, $67 million through the Medicaid program here in the state of Florida. So our money, my money, was taken by this company inappropriately in the form of our tax dollars. They copped to it and said, all right, we give you $67 million back. And Ron DeSantis said, you know what, why don't you give us $57 million and give $10 million over to this charity that my wife runs. In fact, the $10 million was not necessarily just to that charity. It was actually split between two charities. And then the scandal gets even deeper, because those two charities are not required to report how their money is spent. And then they both made a combined $8.5 million donation to Ron DeSantis' super PAC. So you would reach this settlement with a company that screwed over your own taxpayers, your state, and instead of giving all the money back to the state, you gave it to the charities, who then funneled it, looking like money laundering, to your own super PAC. If this isn't criminal, then I don't know what is.
Man, let me tell you, when I seen that, when I saw that, let me tell you, hey y'all, when I saw that and the thought of him being about to get caught up in a scandal that big, this was me, y'all, right here.
Come into my life, I got so much love to show you. Come into my life, boy, I adore you. Come into my life, I got so much love to show you. Come into my life, boy, I adore you.
That was me when I saw that story. I mean to tell you, oh my goodness, Mr. Ron DeSantis, Mr. Trump Mini-Me, Mr. Ron DeSanctimonious, Mr. I could do Trump better than Trump. I can out-Trump Trump with the stacks in his shoes. I tell you what, I just had to look up more and dig more into it. I was like, oh my goodness. This was just wonderful. Just hearing this, I had to keep digging. I just wanted to hear more. Let's hear some more about it. Let's hear some more about that. Because he can't, he can't be that arrogant. He can't be that stupid. He can't be that arrogant. Or can he? Let's check it out.
By the way, for the past 6 years, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has had a great rubber stamp relationship. He's got a lot of approval from the conservative-led state legislature there in Florida. But over the past 2 weeks, something has changed. Some members of his administration have been called for questioning about the alleged misappropriation of a $10 million payment. There's been an investigation here by the Tampa Bay Times and Miami Herald, and they found that that money was supposed to be used to help struggling families in the Sunshine State, but instead, the funds were allegedly diverted to the governor's political committees through a state-created fund, which is closely associated with Ron DeSantis' wife, Casey. That fund is called the Hope Florida Foundation. Now, questions are being asked about the legitimacy of Hope Florida's work overall. The governor and the First Lady, Casey DeSantis, deny all of these allegations, and they say the findings of the investigation are incorrect. The governor is also not happy about being challenged by his fellow Republicans.
None of these Republican leaders got elected on the platform that they were going to launch baseless attacks against the governor and First Lady. We have some of these leaders in the Florida House who are stabbing their constituents in the back. This is being driven by the leadership in the House, by some of the entrenched staff. This is the swamp in action.
You mean to tell me it's not the Democrats accusing him? You say he can't be that arrogant. He's stupid and he wants to run for president too? You mean to tell me that dude, it was the Republicans charging him with that?
Come into my life, I got so much love to show you. Come into my life, boy, I adore you. Come into
The Republicans said he did it? Wow. Wait, the Republicans are the ones who have been giving him everything he wanted. You mean it's not the Democrats? The Republicans is turning on him? Oh, he fucking up the church money. Oh, I get it. I get it. Man, that is crazy. And he's mad. Hey, imagine that's me, Lisa. That's me all day long. I mean, it was him and the Republicans, and he upset that the Republicans are calling him out for stealing their money. Oh, this is too good. Let's listen to some more. Let's see how deep this goes.
What is going on? Here to help us understand what's going on and what it could mean for the DeSantis political present and future is CBS News Miami political reporter Jim DeFede. Jim, it's really great to have you here. You are who I go to for all things Florida politics. And so I'm hoping you can explain to us how the conservative Republican legislature there in Florida has taken this more investigatory or at least curious stance when it comes to Ron DeSantis at the moment.
You're absolutely right, Tony. For 6 years, the first 6 years, the Florida legislature, the Republican-dominated legislature, gave Ron DeSantis everything he wanted, in part because they wanted to support his ambitions of becoming president. But once his campaign fizzled, the fact that he couldn't get out of Iowa really ended up handicapping DeSantis, and his stature dropped dramatically in Florida among politicians who now wanted to reassert their independence, particularly House Speaker Danny Perez here in Florida. He wanted to reassert the idea that the legislature is an independent branch of government. But I will tell you that this is beyond politics. There are some legitimate questions being asked about where exactly this money went, how the state received it, and where it moved to these political committees controlled by the governor.
So, Jim, can you quickly walk us along the money trail? Where did this money come from? Where did it go?
Yeah, no, a great question, Adriana, because it gets a little complicated, but let me try to make it as simple as possible. The state of Florida learned that they had been overbilled on Medicaid payments to the tune of about $67 million by a company called Centene. Centene had settled these types of lawsuits and claims against a dozen other states around the country, and it paid out almost $1 billion. Florida's cut was going to be $67 million. So that money was supposed to be returned to the Florida taxpayers, some of it even going back to the federal government because it's Medicaid money. But instead of returning the $67 million, the DeSantis administration negotiated with Centene to have them only send $57 million back to taxpayers and instead secretly send $10 million to something called the Hope Florida Foundation, which Tony talked about in the introduction. The Hope Florida Foundation is this foundation that was created to support Casey DeSantis' signature program, which is Hope Florida, a program intended to try to get poor people off of government assistance and help them find private charities and churches to supplant what government does. So it's a good cause, but the money never even went to that purpose. The $10 million that then got transferred from Centene to Hope Florida Foundation within days was then routed to 2 political committees and then to a 3rd political committee that was under the control of Ron DeSantis' then chief of staff, James Oathmeyer, to be used in the anti-marijuana campaign. So quickly. Taxpayer-funded money, the money that should have been returned to taxpayers, went to a foundation to help poor families. It didn't help poor families, and instead went to a political committee that had political purposes to try to fight the marijuana amendment.
What? Just to try and fight the marijuana amendment? You mean to tell me you're going to steal money to fight a marijuana amendment in the state? You're gonna wow. And the Republicans turned him in. And his chief of staff was part of the deal. That is incredible. I mean, incredible. That is crazy. And he expected to get away with this? That's crazy. How could he even expect to get away with that? Well, you know what? It makes sense because up to this point, their legislature has been bending over backwards for this dude. They've been bending over backwards so much that they literally changed the state law for him to run for president and continue to be governor. Prior to that, if you wanted to run for president, you had to give up being governor. And they changed the rules just for him. He's just trying to do the crooked things that Trump does. Yeah. Well, he considers himself Trump part 2, you know. And I'd hate to think he was going to try and run again. Come on. I think people soured on him already. But I'm trying to figure out, how did he think he was going to get away with that? That's crazy. I mean, straight up crazy. I tell you what. I think it's some more. Let's listen to some more of that.
So, Jim, Casey Desantis has future aspirations, we understand, to be governor of Florida. Ron DeSantis has future aspirations in politics, even after he's governor. So this matters where the buck stops. They deny all these allegations. But I wonder, could somebody end up taking the blame for this who's not named DeSantis?
So the person who's getting a lot of attention right now is James Oathmeyer, who was, at the time of all these negotiations, the governor's chief of staff. Now, when Ashley Moody was named United States Senator to replace Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis rewarded James Oathmeyer, and he is now the state's attorney general. So the top law enforcement official in Florida is the attorney general, James Oathmeyer, who is now caught up in what the chairman of the House committee this morning called a conspiracy to commit money laundering and wire fraud. So I can tell you, based on my reporting as well, that the chairman of the committee told me late yesterday that he's already been in touch with the Department of Justice to try to see if they're willing to look into and investigate this matter.
Wow. All right, so this could become a federal issue as well. Jim, thank you so much.
Oh, wow. So, so his chief of staff that was stealing the money with him got put into the attorney general spot after the attorney general got Marco Rubio's spot in the Senate. So he moved his chief of staff into the spot that would normally be investigating crime like this. You know what? Sound like a pretty good scheme. Unless what happens, you know, they turn on you. And wait a minute. Did they just say, did he just say they contacted the State Department to see if the feds can get involved? You mean to tell me they've called Pam Bondi, who works for Donald Trump, who hates Ron DeSantis? Let's see. And Ron DeSantis' wife, who looks like the doll that you would find on a Goodwill store shelf, is trying to be governor. But that other guy is trying to be governor. What's that other guy's name? Byron Donalds? Byron Donalds is trying to be governor in Florida. And Trump is backing Byron Donalds. And Ron DeSantis and his wife, chief of staff, who is now attorney general, has just got fingered stealing $10 million. Oh, shit.
Come into my life, I got so much love to show you. Come into my life, boy, I adore you.
Wow. That is crazy. That is so crazy. This is going to be lovely. This is going to be lovely. I can't wait. I can't wait. I got to see what the Justice Department, if they get involved. What y'all think? Y'all think the Justice Department going to get involved? Y'all think Donald Trump's attorney general going to investigate this? You think Kash Patel go and investigate this? What y'all think? Chime in. Let me know. And James, what you just said is absolutely correct. You know, in a rational country, he'd have been snatched out just that fast. You know, they'd have had that dude carted off. That is crazy. And Byron Donalds, you know good and doggone Byron Donalds has been down there talking to the legislature because he intends to be the next governor. And Ron DeSantis has been smearing Byron Donalds, talking about Byron Donalds ain't did shit for Florida. Ron DeSantis has been going around the state saying Byron Donalds hasn't done anything for Florida. He ain't been there for Florida. And Trump is backing Byron Donalds. And the legislature, the Republican legislature, turned DeSantis in. Man, talk about they eating their own. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Talk about goose is cooked. Yes, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm not going to lie. Man, I've been dancing all day. When I saw that, I mean, there's, you know, it's so little to be pumped up about these days, you know. These days, it's hard to find something that, you know, to give you some ray of hope, shine some light on the issues, you know. So we got to find it where we can. Man, that couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Man, I can't wait to see how this unfolds. The Republicans have turned against DeSantis. Do we understand how monumental that is? The people who have been giving him everything he wants has turned on him. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. I tell you what, I'm hard pressed to find anything at all that could make me feel like that. Oh well, moving right along. You know what? There was one other thing I found out today that just brought a tear to my eye. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Y'all know her. I've been talking about her. She's now the governor out in Arkansas. Y'all remember Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Well, for those of you who don't know, it was the last Trump press secretary. You know, that person that stand out there at the podium and tell lies all day. And I mean, she is one of the lyingest people I have ever seen in my life. Donald Trump could just walk away from the podium and a reporter can ask her a question and she'll say, he didn't say that. And everybody in the room would be stunned. It's like everybody else heard him say it. He didn't say that. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Well, guess what? You're gonna love this. So her state has been a disaster area, okay? Her state has been a disaster area. And she asked Trump for some federal funding for help. And Trump said, hell no. We ain't got nothing for you. And after all of the lying, all of the downright lying she's done for that guy, and dirt she's done for the guy, he turned her down. And check this out. Now she's begging Trump. Check this out.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has urgently appealed to President Donald Trump to reconsider his denial of her request for disaster relief funds after tornadoes wreaked havoc on her state last month. Sanders, who previously served as the White House press secretary under Trump's first administration, wrote to him in March following the storms that claimed 3 lives. After declaring a state of emergency, Sanders sought a major disaster declaration from Trump to secure federal aid. However, the Trump administration rejected her request, stating that the damage could be managed by the state itself. In an appeal on April 18, Sanders and the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management pleaded with the president, emphasizing that Arkansas is in dire need of federal assistance. The severe storms and tornadoes that occurred on March 14 and 15, 2025, caused catastrophic impacts across the state. The magnitude of this event resulted in overwhelming debris, widespread destruction to homes and businesses, the tragic loss of 3 lives, and injuries to many others, Sanders stated in her letter, as reported by the Arkansas Times. She further described a second wave of severe weather that hit Arkansas less than 3 weeks later. Given the cumulative impact of these events, federal assistance is essential to help our communities recover, Sanders added. This plea for help marks a significant shift from statements Sanders made in 2023. As long as I am your governor, the meddling hand of big government creeping down from Washington, D.C. will be stopped cold at the Mississippi River, she wrote in a post on X in January 2023.
Y'all know what I think about that, right?
Come into my life, I got so much love to show you.
ready. Get set. Get ready for some misery. Get ready. Get set for some misery. Doggone it. You say, what is the government doing instead of helping the individual states? Nothing. Trump telling them to pound sand. Trump is telling them to pound sand. The federal government ain't doing nothing. No help. Sorry. Now, isn't that just beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Now, see, this would be a fine time. Remember I talked about running those ads in those local stations and local radio stations, local news networks? Hell no, man. You don't get no loyalty from Donald Trump. Hell no. I tell you what, I've been dancing all day long today. This would be a perfect time to just run ad after ad, bombard them with ads about Trump denying them federal help. I haven't seen anybody saying anything. I haven't seen any Democrats mentioning it. I am going to fire off some emails because it's a shame that there are no Democrats mentioning this. Why? They should be on the Sunday shows. All across the Sunday shows. Every time you look at one of the Sunday shows, all you see is Republicans. All you see is Republicans. I don't know if they've been on Morning Joe saying it. I don't know if they've been on CNN saying it. I haven't been watching lately. But at least on the Sunday, on the regular network shows on Channel 7, ABC, that is, here, that's CBS, NBC, those. Somebody should be on these shows highlighting that. Now, maybe they are doing it out in her state. Maybe it's a local thing. Maybe they're doing it, and I don't know it. But I certainly would think you would hear somebody saying something about it. You know, if you've heard something about it, let me know, because I haven't. But, man, I got to tell you, I almost danced in the street today. Because he tanned their ass up. He told them, I intend to get rid of FEMA. He told them that. If he tell you he gonna get rid of FEMA, did you just think he was gonna get rid of FEMA for the black people? Is that what you thought? He gonna get rid of FEMA for the immigrants. The immigrants ain't gonna have any FEMA. The black people ain't gonna have any FEMA. Really? I hope he tear their ass up. Okay? Does my heart good. So anyway, those were the two things that was predominantly on my mind today that I thought, bared mention. There's some others that happened today. Trump was lying, as he always does, about meeting with the Chinese. The man did an interview. Anybody hear about this interview that he did with Time Magazine, in which he told Time Magazine that he's done 200 trade agreements. He's up to 200. He's got them done. Now they ask him, can you mention any of them? Nope, can't mention none of them. You've done 200 trade agreements. Yep, 200. Well, there's only 193 countries. So it's kind of hard to do 200 trade agreements with 193 countries, huh? But he was steadfast. It was 200. Can't tell you about them, but I did them. I can't wait. I'm gonna buy a copy of this magazine or go online and see if I can see the interview. You know, I'm gonna print that interview out just so I can have it, and I might recite it here on the stream, because some of the stuff I heard he said is just absolutely crazy, you know. And every time you hear an actual interview where Trump sat down with somebody and talked, he's got to say something so stupid that it's like, whoa, crazy stupid. So I can't wait. I'm going to try and get that interview. Say, not with Trump, man. Hey, yeah, Trump got a different kind of mad, because, let's see. The war would be over day one. Oh, no, wait a minute. 24 hours. Which was day one? Oh, prices. Prices for stuff was coming down day one. You know, I keep forgetting. You know, we'd have a trade deal with China. We're going to make China pay. We're going to punish China. But wait a minute. We got to start working on legislation to help the farmers out, because the farmers are getting killed because of the tariffs on China. Yeah, the math ain't mathing. So anyway, how y'all doing today? Any particular thing captured your hearts today? My heart got some good today. I rode my bike, mowed my lawn, mowed the lawn first, rode the bike, and then managed to do all that, and then it started raining. Rained just as I put the bike up. Ain't that cool? Ain't that some timing? I knew this was going to be a good day when, as soon as I got in the garage, the rain started falling. That told me I was being covered by His grace. How about that? On a Friday afternoon. Anyway, one other thing did happen. I'm not sure you're aware of. A judge was arrested in Wisconsin. That's something else that happened today. That is unfortunate. Kash Patel, that was his guys went in. Now, I find it interesting that Kash Patel went on Twitter and said, yeah, we had to arrest the judge out in Wisconsin, and then all of a sudden took it down off of Twitter. Now, I'm confused as to whether it was Kash Patel's people or ICE or Pam Bondi's people. Well, Kash Patel, let's see. Kash Patel would respond to Pam Bondi. That's who Pam Bondi would have sent. Yeah, Kash Patel's guys. Yeah, so FBI went in and grabbed the judge. Okay. So, here, let's have a look at it.
Breaking news, the FBI has just arrested a Milwaukee judge accused of trying to help a man evade immigration authorities. In a now deleted post on X, the FBI director writes that Judge Hannah Dugan intentionally misdirected agents. ABC News Justice reporter Alex Mallon has the details. Alex, what do we know so far?
Well, we don't know why the FBI director deleted that post, but we do know from our affiliate in Wisconsin that Judge Hannah Dugan did make her initial appearance this morning. She was charged with 2 federal crimes. That includes concealing a person from discovery and arrest, and the second count is obstruction of federal proceedings. She appeared, her attorney in that court proceeding said that, quote, Judge Dugan wholeheartedly protests the arrest, and the judge ended up actually ordering her released after that hearing. We expect that she will plead not guilty to those charges. But this is a dramatic escalation, obviously, of the Trump administration's, war with the judiciary. They have been previewing the possibility that they would seek charges against any judge or federal officer or even state officers who they say obstruct lawful deportation efforts by this administration. But obviously, this is a dramatic escalation of that. And they detail this. We just got these court charges that were unsealed. Basically, on April 18th, they say that Judge Dugan had an undocumented immigrant set to appear before her in court, and they allege that she helped facilitate him evading ICE officers who were present and ready to arrest him at that court. They say that they were actually able to later arrest him on the street, that he fled them. But now they are bringing those charges, saying that they're formally accusing this judge of trying to help this undocumented immigrant who was charged facing state charges of assault and battery and was appearing before her at that time on April 18th. So obviously, we're going to watch the developments. This is going to be a very contentious and closely watched case as we see this administration really take head on this idea that they say that state officials are seeking to obstruct their federal efforts to crack down on illegal immigration.
Now, unfortunately, in later reporting, I understand that she allowed or guided this person and his attorney through what is called the jury doors, which led to outside. If this is true, it's unfortunate because, I don't think she should have did that. That's kind of giving them ammo, my opinion. I don't know the legality of it, but if that's what she did, if she held the officers at bay while she guided them out of an open back door, it's kind of sad that she got involved like that. I don't know why she would have. And he was caught. They said they caught him in a foot chase. So it's unfortunate. Don't know what to say about that. That's going to come out in the wash, I guess. So there you have it. At least we see that they are more than willing to ramp up this fight, this immigration issue fight. And, we're going to see how it plays out. I think something like this particular thing, gives him something to go and shout about. and you know he's going to turn it into something else. He's going to turn this into a Democrat thing all across the country. Everybody wants immigrants to stay in America. They want criminals to stay in America. They don't want us to get them out. You know, he's going to turn this into a big thing. You know, he's going to lie. Fortunately, you know, he's out of the country, you know, over at the funeral. But you know he's going to lie. And he's going to make a big thing out of it. So, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, hey, it's Friday. We're almost through this month. It was in the 70s and the 80 last week. Tomorrow, supposed to be in the 50s or the 40s the next couple of days. Now, how do y'all think I feel about that? Right. So, in the meantime, you know what? I will be thinking about either Ron DeSantis going to jail or Sarah Huckabee Sanders getting kicked out of office. You know, I'll spend the weekend thinking about that. So, I want y'all to have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night. 86. Damn. Must be nice. I tell you what. Man, when it turns 86 here, I'm going to be so happy. I tell you what. In the meantime, though, I'm going to be thinking about Ron DeSantis going to prison, Sarah Huckabee Sanders getting kicked out of office. I'll think about that all weekend, and this will be me.
Come into my life, I got so much love to show you. Come into my life, boy, I adore you. Come into my
All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. And have a good weekend. Peace.